What's going on, everyone? So when Damian Lillard finally requested a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers, it looked like the Miami Heat made the right choice, right? You saw all the reports. They're waiting. They're being patient. They had opportunities for other moves, other things. But we're waiting for Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is the piece we need. Got rid of Strus, Vincent, basically brought in some other nice pieces, right? They got Thomas Bryant, so they got another big man. Although defensively, he's rough. He was literally the worst defensive center in the league last year. Not an opinion, statistical fact. But they also got like Josh Richardson. Got some nice pieces to kind of supplement. And Miami's also really good at just finding these gems in free agency and whatever, right? Draft, undrafted. Miami's never really had a problem of finding just rotational talent. They have two stars in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo that are really good at the intangibles. They're really good at the ins and outs, the hustle plays. They're the ones that do the dirty work, which is great from like your star players, right? How often do you see stars doing the dirty work? That's usually why you go get a rotation level player, go get a hard-nosed player, because they're the ones that do the dirty work. A Marcus Smart and Alex Caruso, somebody like that, that'll go through the ins and outs, that'll guard the best player on the other team, that'll dive for loose balls, that'll sacrifice their body, right? But you have Bam and Jimmy who will both do those things. It's a wonderful thing. The one thing that they're missing is like that elite level scorer. They need that badly. And so Dame just made all the sense in the world. It was like, all right, go get Damian Lillard. Perfect. He's available now. We were right. We knew this summer would be the summer. Now let's just go and trade him. And now they've hit that roadblock of an issue that we've talked about here before, where it's like, what does Miami have to trade for Damian Lillard? And Damian Lillard has done his part, right? He's requested the trade, and he said, I want to go to Miami. It's where I want to go. It's the one place. Usually you see, a list of several teams. Like, okay, I prefer to go to Miami, but I'm willing to settle for these teams. So far, we haven't heard that. Like, even Kevin Durant was like, I want to go to the Phoenix Suns, but if you trade me to these three other teams, then I'm more than happy to go to those teams as well. But I prefer the Suns if you can send me to the Suns. And usually teams will try to work that out, and ultimately Kevin Durant goes to the Suns, right? But sometimes you have the alternative, right? Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving wanted to go to the Lakers. All the talk about the Lakers. He wants to be a Laker. He wants this. And the Lakers had several opportunities to trade for him, made offers, made packages. And the Brooklyn Nets said, we're not going to trade you to Lakers, buddy. We don't want to send you where you want to go. We're going to send you to Dallas. And he ends up getting traded to Dallas. And now he's with Dallas. So just because Dame wants Miami doesn't mean he's going to get Miami. Now, I do think ultimately Miami will figure it out, right? Because you have this opportunity. Don't squander it. The issue is, who wants to help Miami land Damian Lillard? So you've heard reports that like Tyler Hero, he's taken the heat off of his like Twitter bio or whatever. Also, supposedly he's running around telling people he's getting traded, which if they can land Damian Lillard, he's getting traded. And now the problem is, if you don't land Damian Lillard, you almost have to trade Tyler Hero at this point, right? Like, so that becomes a problem. But you heard teams like the Brooklyn Nets are more than interested to take on Tyler Hero. They like Tyler Hero, but they want to be compensated for it. And some people might be thinking like, why you're getting Tyler Hero? Like, that is your compensation. Like, why would you get picks or something like that? Because you're trying to land Damian Lillard when we could just go trade for Damian Lillard. Like, why would the Brooklyn Nets want to go and help Miami trade for Damian Lillard to take on Tyler Hero, which they may like Tyler Hero, but it's not like they absolutely need Tyler. It's not like Tyler Hero's the missing piece to win a championship. It's like you're going to get the best player out of all of it. You're probably going to be a contender, and if not, maybe even win a championship. And yes, we like Tyler Hero, but we like Damian Lillard also. And Damian Lillard also said that he'd be willing to come to the Nets a while back. So if that's still a possibility, we have more than enough to go and trade for Damian Lillard. We could outbid you easily for Damian Lillard. So Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat is not a full lock, because Miami just doesn't have the assets to go and trade for Damian Lillard put together a package that makes sense. Especially when there's so many other teams that have thrown their hats in the pool. And it comes down to, what is Portland willing to take less to keep Dame happy for public perception, right? And yes, to a degree, if they botch this and Dame isn't happy, they run the risk of just perception from other players. But it's not like Portland's ever really been a prime destination for stars. It's not like stars are lining up to go to Portland. Because if that was the case, then Damian Lillard would probably have a championship or two. So now you have several other teams that could easily put together better packages to go and acquire Damian Lillard. Like I said, the Nets can do it. Clippers, they're kind of in the same boat as Miami, but they have like a handful of young players, and they have a bunch of expiring contracts. They may be able to go get another piece from somewhere else, right? Like just unload. Like if Portland's like, hey, I really like this team over, or this guy over here, the Clippers could maybe go trade and try to get that guy and add him to their young pieces and stuff like that. But still, Clippers, I think, that'd be a little tough. But teams like the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, especially the Utah Jazz, like the Utah Jazz they have so many picks and stuff, it's just falling out of their pockets at this point, right? I mean, they are stacked. Even a team like the Knicks, if they wanted to, could go get Damian Lillard. I don't think they will, but there's several other teams that are supposedly interested in Damian Lillard that could all easily just outbid the entire any package. Even if they go get a third team, can outbid what Miami could possibly get in that third team. And so unless Miami can find somebody that is willing to just kind of bite the bullet for them and help them out, like, we'll do you a solid for a solid later on down the line, something. I mean, it's not far-fetched to think Damian Lillard lands elsewhere. And some people might be thinking, well, he wants to go to Miami. Stars usually go to where they want, right? Like even Kevin Durant went to the Phoenix Suns. That was his preferred destination. But there were also other options, and the Phoenix Suns offered a very good package, right? Like it wasn't like they traded him to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul, right? No, they traded him to the Suns for Bridges, Johnson, a bunch of first-round picks. Like they got a haul for Kevin Durant. And so yes, he got to go to his preferred destination, but it was a team that had the amount of assets to acquire that. Also, just like Kevin Durant, where the Nets basically made Kevin Durant keep playing and called his bluff, Portland could do the same thing, right? Portland could easily just say, like, we're not going to trade you just to trade you. Like, we need something back in return for compensation. You're on a 4-year deal. What, are you just never going to play basketball again? No. Though one of the big reasons Damian Lillard wants to leave Portland is because he wanted to play basketball and they wouldn't let him because they wanted to go get a draft pick, and it worked out. They ended up getting Scoot Henderson, but that's one of the reasons Damian Lillard's mad. He's like, you guys are rebuilding. If we're not like a contender, you don't even want me to play, so you could go get draft picks. Like, send me to somewhere where I can play basketball. So if you're Portland, you could easily just say, hey, we're going to hold on to you until we find a return that we actually like. If that means you playing the season, then guess what? I guess you're playing the season. And what is Dame going to do? There's nothing he can do. And a lot of this is on Damian Lillard himself, right? He's the one that signed the extension, knowing the situation. I get the loyalty. I get that he wanted to, kind of give them one last chance, give them one last opportunity. Here's one last opportunity to try to do something to make us better, right? And they squandered it. And look, the Blazers hold the bulk of the mess because they never did their job as an organization. Damian Lillard did his job as a player. They just never did their job as an organization. But Damian Lillard should have asked out on several occasions. Damian Lillard should have waited to see what can they do before you sign that extension. He put himself in this position. Now he wants to go to Miami. And again, I still think ultimately he probably ends up there. I do. I think Miami will figure it out. But the Blazers don't have an obligation to do so. And this is why I've never had a problem with players, in the mobility movement, right? Like even back when LeBron went to Miami, I was like, good, right? Cleveland's not doing their job. Like now the perception, like LeBron had to fall on the sword for everybody else to kind of get that. And now even fans understand, like real fans. Like there's people that are mad at Damian Lillard for requesting a trade, but most sane Portland fans are like, nah, like this is a long time coming. Get our boy out of Portland. Like Portland's not doing their job. At some point, you got to hold the organization accountable, right? And that was like the thing, like with LeBron, like Cleveland would not do what was necessary to put a real contender around LeBron James. They just wouldn't. Even when they went to the finals with like a bag of chips in LeBron James, right? Like they still never did what they needed to do to put a contender. It took him going to Miami, and then when he came back, they were like, okay, well, we don't want to lose him again, so let's do what he wants. And they won their first ever championship. So I've never had a problem with mobility because organizations will sell you in a heartbeat. Organizations will make you, like Dame wants out. Portland's like, we're not just going to trade you, right? And then you now have Cronin, he's over here, taking little subtle jabs. That's at least what it seems like, talking about the trade stuff. It's like you didn't do your job. Like, if you were a good GM and you actually did what you needed to do, like for the last 10 years that Damian Lillard was there, like, or your organization, right? Like, come on, man. And now it's Damian Lillard. Like, Damian Lillard gave you a chance last year when and the year before that when you were selling off all your pieces. And when you sold off all your pieces, what did you do? You promised them you were going to build a contender, and your contender was re-signing Nurkic and bringing in Jeremy Grant. Oh my gosh, what great moves, right? Like, come on, like it's silly. It is absolutely silly. But I don't know. I don't think Damian Lillard to Miami is as big of a lock as it was perceived in the beginning. The idea was that, like, hey, Portland wants to do right by Dame. So that way the perception's good, right? Like trade him to where he wants to go, just so that way it looks better, right? That way you did right by Dame, did right by us, but does it look like that's really the case? And there's reports that this could get dragged out weeks. I mean, if that ends up happening, I think he might end up starting as a Blazer, and they might wait till the trade deadline, right? Because I mean, come the trade deadline, you're gonna probably have a handful of teams that aren't able to trade for Damian Lillard right now, and will be by the trade deadline. Or two, you're gonna have teams that are kind of like, we don't really want to give up a ton for Dame, who are like right on the cusp and go, oh man, Dame would put us over the top to win a chip, and now they're going and trading everybody, right? Like the Celtics, for example. Let's say the Celtics aren't really meshing that well, right? They lost Marcus Smart. Yeah, they got Porzingis, but it's a little clunky. It's a little awkward. Like, it's not very good. They're like, man, we need another scorer. We need another shooter. Like, Jaylen Brown kind of just is the same guy, right? Maybe then they go, okay, well, let's just trade Jaylen Brown at that point, right? You never know what's going to happen. And so is it smarter for you to just wait it out and see than just trade him for something that you don't even want to trade him for, and you have him under contract for the next 4 years or whatever? Like, I don't know. It's an absolute mess, and the Blazers are gonna have to navigate this, and Miami's gonna have to figure it out. It's not up to Portland to figure out. It's up to Miami. Miami's gonna have to put the pieces to the puzzle in order to go claim Damian Lillard, and we'll see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Dame ends up going to Miami? You think he goes elsewhere? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know.